Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. I never did a Facebook Live at noon. So this is new. So we'll see. I thought it might be fun to kind of take a little break from the day and mix it up a little bit. So it's noon. Happy lunchtime. This is my lunch. I've been really naughty with my food these last couple of weeks, and so I just decided not to continue. So I'm juicing, and I gotta tell you, juicing is amazing. It gives you a lot of energy, and yeah. So kale and this is kale and carrots, spinach, a green apple. What else? Kale, kale, spinach, carrots, and a green apple. Yeah, and I think a half a lemon is in here. Yeah, so I'm drinking a few of these a day, and it feels really good. So I want to make sure you guys can hear me, and I'm just gonna wait a couple of minutes. Hey Gia, I'm just gonna wait a couple of minutes to kind of get on before we go into the letter from Spirit. So it's kind of exciting, to do these letters from Spirit. I've been sitting and writing since January 2017. So that's how long I've been kind of writing with my guides. And I have so much data from them, I just have pages and pages and pages of material of guidance that they have given me and teachings that they've taught me. So anyway, there's just been so much. And so I don't know why, I just kind of felt inspired to kind of share now. So I'm sure they have something to do with that. As I always say, inspiration really comes from guidance from above. And so I really believe that inspiration kind of comes from the spirit world. And so the fact that I'm inspired to kind of do this, it's probably coming from them. So before I get into letter from Spirit, I thought maybe it'd be kind of fun. I'll share a reading that I just had, and yes, that'd be kind of cool. So I'll just share a little bit of a reading that I just did, and that's kind of connecting with the other side and connecting with other people's loved ones, and then I'll move into the letter with the spirit world that has the guidance for us. So I had a client, and as I was expanding myself, as I was expanding my auric field, and I was really moving my awareness to the spirit world, I became aware of a gentleman. And what was amazing is I'm very clairvoyant, as I've mentioned, probably because I was a photographer for a lot of years, but I'm really clairvoyant. And, we all have our different ways, and I'm very visual. And so he showed me, so I felt I had a gentleman that stepped in, and then I felt this was this woman's husband, and he put me in front of a piano, but all I could really see was like the keyboard of the piano and his hands on the piano playing like this. Like this. And so I knew he was a pianist, and I knew from this image that he did this professionally, and he was a composer. And the client said, yes, my husband was a pianist and a composer, yes. And so we were kind of talking about that. So that's kind of how the reading kind of started, right? And then he moved me to the opera, and I said, I know he very much enjoys operatic music, and this is something you share together. And she says, yes, that's true. And I said, because he brings me to the opera, and I know you would have spent a lot of time at the opera. She says, yes. And I said, well, he's drawing me to a photograph that you have in your home of the two of you at the opera, dressed up really nicely. Would you happen to have that picture in your home? This is what he's talking about. And he says, she says, oh my God, yes. And I do, yes. And I said, I know he really loves that. And I said, I don't know, did he like you in the color red? And she says, not particularly. And I said, yeah, because, he's talking about the song, The Lady in Red, and he wants me to say that. And would that make sense to you? And she says, that was the song he always sang to me. He always played The Lady in Red. That was our song. And I said, well, fantastic, because he's, mentioning this now, so you would understand. And she says, oh, yes. I said, he's bringing me to the end of his life. And And I mean, this reading went on for an hour, but I said, but he's bringing me to the end of his life, and he tells me that you laid in bed next to him and rubbed his arm, and he says he wants to say thank you for that because he wants to say thank you because he says that towards the final days, his voice, wasn't easy to hear him, and so he says he wasn't able to really tell you that he appreciated you rubbing his arm and laying in bed next to him. Would that make sense? And she says, yes, we had different bedrooms, and but the night he was going to cross, I laid in bed with him and I rubbed his arm. And I said, well, he wants to say thank you for that. And so, I said, and also there is something else too, because he wants to talk about a gentleman that was in the room at the end of his life as well. And he wants to talk about him playing this very special kind of classical music, something very powerful in this classical music that he's making me aware that this gentleman would have played as he was transitioning into the spirit world. And would you understand that? And she says, yes, my grandson, he played Beethoven all the way until my husband passed. And I said, well, he really wants his grandson to know that he loved it so much. And so it was like this lovely little reading, and it kind of went on, and then we kind of, then other people were coming in. I said, I really feel like, did you have a housekeeper that crossed? They used to always bake you these really wonderful cookies. She says, I did. I said, well, she's coming in, and there was all these other ones. But then at the end, when I finish a reading, I always ask the spirit world, I always ask the loved one in spirit, is there anything else? And as I went through this, lovely reading with my client, I asked her husband or anyone on the other side that had already come in, is there anything else? And her husband comes back in and brings me back to the piano. But this time the hands that I saw were not his, they were hers. And she was wearing his ring. And so I said to the client, I said, do you sit at the piano and play the piano? And she says, I do. And I said, and do you wear your husband's wedding ring when you do this? And she says, yes, and I'm wearing it now. And yes, I do that. And I said, because your husband wants you to know that all the times that you used to sit with him as he played the piano, he says he sits with you as you play the piano. And he's aware that you wear his wedding ring as you play it. And that just took her over. And that was the very end of the reading. And the reason why I share this is because, I do a lot of readings that are in my offices. And I share this because this reading was done over the telephone. And I never saw her face. I never spoken to her. But, our loved ones are wherever we are. Right? So if we're in the same room, wonderful. And if we're in different places, wonderful. So I share this because somebody in one of my last lives, or one of my lives, had asked me or written in on the comments and said, is there a difference between in-person readings or over the phone or through online? And so I wanted to share this because this was a really wonderful, lovely reading this lady had, and just filled with lots of very specific, lovely things. And it was over the telephone. And so I just thought I'd kind of share that, and it was lovely. So, okay, so I just want to see if anyone else, okay. So I thought I'd do that. And okay, just really quick, I'm going to get into my letter from Spirit. And first of all, just chime in. Are you having a good day today? How are we doing? Is everyone good? Anyone doing anything special today at all? No, you guys are quiet today. Okay, so I thought it would be nice to kind of share this little letter from Spirit. And, listen, these are my writings. And sometimes when I write with Spirit, sometimes I ask a specific question. And sometimes I just see what they want to say. Right? So it's not always a question to them. Sometimes I just want to know, like, what do you want to say? Like, do you have anything to say? Let them kind of direct messages. And so that's kind of what, hi Sherry, beautiful day, went for a walk, love that. Yeah, I walked my dog today too, a little bit farther today. And she just seems to be getting kind of bored. And so I walked a little farther today and she loved it. So it was really cool out here, kind of overcast down where I am, but I love walking. I've been doing these drinks now, and also with the drinks, I've been trying to exercise more. So that was me trying to get myself out there more and be a little healthier. So lovely that you walked. I love walking in nature. Okay, so anyway, okay, so I'm going to read this letter from Spirit, and you know, these are with my Guides Edgar, and as I mentioned, I always feel that they want to share with others. It's not just me. So, oh, am I in? My phone is ringing. Hang on. Okay. Anyway, so okay, so today, so when I wrote this, hi Sarah. So when I wrote this together, hi Sherry. So when I wrote this, I didn't have anything specific to ask them. I wanted to hear what they wanted to talk about, right? So here goes, okay? And then maybe we can kind of chime in and talk a minute about what you feel the message in this is, right? So maybe we can just have a moment of like kind of dialogue with it. Okay, so here it goes. I'm gonna look down, as you know, right? So I can stay focused on my letter. All right, so so I wrote, hi Edgar. I sit today to write some more with you. I have no set topic. I ask if there is anything that you wish to share for me or for others that I can then share. And they said, indeed it is that always there can be topics, and never a day there is nothing we cannot share or that you cannot ask. Asking is how all becomes, you see. It all must begin with the ask, the wanting to become, you see. It is that we are asking of you as well. We ask that you believe, to trust, to ponder, to enjoy. It is that we have asking, as you all do as well. You ask to receive. We ask in hopes to receive as well. You see, what all does is a part of one another. Each soul has a connectivity to one another, and therefore each one affects the other, you see. It is the community of life. You each live in it, grow from it, expand with it. It is a wonderful time you each sit in. It is a perfect time to be. Do you agree? Some we say do not, you see, and this is where the flashlight can be placed. It is a time to see the importance that you each have to one another, to your communities, and to the community of the world in which you reside. It is that there are many places in this world, and yet, no matter where you sit, you touch another, no matter where they sit, you see. It is that you each touch one another energetically. It is why all are now facing these times. If the shift within each can be placed in a new, better feeling direction, it will affect all who sit in the world, no matter where they are sitting. It is that all of you are placed within a world that is loved and protected by a greater world. A world of love, a world of compassion. And it is that we wish more of this to be dribbled onto all of you in your world. It is that each of you can create a world of your choosing, a world with the experiences of your choosing as well. And yet we see that not all play by the same book of life. It is a choice as well to play as you wish. You see, there can be a thief, and the thief can steal. And he may steal more than once, but it is that one day in time, the thief will receive repercussions for the behavior of its own actions. We say in several ways, you are each a thief, the thief of stealing joy from yourself. By then, stealing joy from each other, by the treatment that is expressed by one another in your communities. It is a wish to have you each play the game of life with a better playbook. This is our asking. A more compassionate playbook for one another, and also for the organisms that create and sit within the world that give you the very life you steal each other away from. We ask to play differently. Go about this beautiful life with compassion, with love. See yourself and others the same way. Come together to be the oneness that you all are a part of. There is no division, you see. When you can see yourselves as a one, we are one with you as well, you see. It is not that it can be any other way. The mere fight that is being fought to separate each other from yourselves separates each other from all that is and one. These are two important words. It is, and we are one. It is so. To begin looking out to all who you see with clearer eyes, with more open hearts, and with the trust from the deeper part of yourself to know that we are one. We are all connected, and that what hurts one hurts another, and it then hurts all. All that loves as one, too, loves another, and then loves all as well, you see. It is a decision to be apart or to be together. It is an unwell feeling that is felt within when you are not connected to the light source of all that is. We each are all that is, and it is a fine day indeed when all can begin dancing together, and to love together is to know that all is very well, that you are each protected by the bigger light you see, but it is that light within you, that if you can all brighten theirs, it will be a world of great dreams. It is so. That's my letter. What did you think? Hi, Sarah. Hi, Jennifer. Were you guys able to listen to the whole message from Spirit? Were you able to listen in on all that? I don't know if some of you all chimed in later. Does anybody want to kind of talk about that a second or comment a minute about the message? You know, does anybody have an idea? Thank you for the hearts. You know, it feels like, you know, from the message that, you know, we've kind of really gotten away from one another. And it seems like the message really is for each of us to really see one another as really family. We are all part of one another. And it sounds like really, you know, their wanting is to really help kind of drive us to a better knowing that that is so, and how we can maybe step into our world seeing each other, you know, more compassionately and more lovingly. I thought it was really kind of powerful when they said that your world is protected and loved by a greater world. And I thought that was really beautiful. You know, doesn't that just give you such peace? I just feel so, when I read that, I thought, oh my gosh, you know, because when I'm doing the channeling, it just comes out so fast that, you know, I don't even really know what I'm writing. So I have to actually go back and actually read it. And so I think that was that part. Where was that part? Where did they say that? Or was it in here? When they said that, I think it was on the first page, right? Where did they say it? It is that all of you are placed within a world that is loved and protected by a greater world. I really thought that was so beautiful. When I read that, it just kind of made me kind of choke up. What did you guys think about that? Do you like these letters? Hi guys, you love the message. So like, what did you guys take from that message? Like, I guess like if we're looking at that, because they said, we always like to ask and we want to receive, but they were saying that, you ask to receive, but we ask in hopes to receive as well. And what they were asking for is for us to have a different playbook of rules, to go through life with a different playbook, and one that brings us together and does not divide us, and that we're fighting one another is, keeping us apart, from having a world that could be so, made of dreams, as they said, right? Because what was their last words? What was their last words that they said? That the light within you, to that if all can brighten their light within, it would be a world of great dreams. And You know, how lovely if we all just kind of do our part. And so I guess the thing is like, how can we step into our day? Maybe um, just seeing that we're all kind of connected, you know, to each other, and just show compassion and love for every person, you know. Why should it be any different than that, right? Anyway, I just thought it was, you know, lovely. And, you know, sometimes I like to kind of talk about a particular topic and ask for guidance in a specific area or more knowledge on a particular area. But sometimes I kind of like to just say, what do you have to say? What do you want to share with us? You know, because they're always going to answer what we ask. But sometimes it's like, I just want to know, like, what do you want to share? Because I may not have asked that, right? So I love sometimes to mix it up a little bit with them. And anyway, you know, they're just beautiful. I love them. So anyway, what else is hi Jennifer, great words to hear in these days. People tend to think it's all about them. This is a great reminder. Yeah, exactly. I kind of think like, what could we take from that message, right? Because obviously, you know, if I'm going to read it and I'm going to share it, I'm hoping, like they said, you know, it doesn't matter where we sit in the world, we are all connected to one another. So it doesn't matter where we sit, how we are, how we behave, how we act to ourselves and to others affects others. And so it's just this ripple. And so, you know, we have a choice of how we want to play by the rules and what kind of rules we want to play by. Do we want it to be with love and compassion, or do we want to play by rules that keeps us divided? And I think that's really the message in their letter today for us, and something to ponder, something to think about, because you know they never like tell you what to do. They're always just giving you something to kind of think about, and their words, ponder. You know, that's a big word for them. They're all like, ponder this, ponder that. Oh my goodness, I have my phone on all these, I have my phone on like do not disturb, and yet it still keeps going off. Anyway, so I just kind of think that you know, we do have choices, and we always have choices. And they said it today too, you know, that we have choices, and how we choose to step into our world and what rules we choose to play. But like they were saying about the thief, right? They talked about, you know, you could be a thief. They talked about there could be a thief, and they could be stealing, and they can do this again and again, but there's going to come a time where, you know, there's going to be repercussions for that action, for that way that they played. And their message to us was, you know, we are all connected, so there will be repercussions on our world and on and our community, because they said, you know, our community in where we live, in our bigger community, and the community of the world. And they really wanted us to see that we have a community of the world, and we have a responsibility to that. And the way we can handle that is by playing with rules of love and compassion, and to stop dividing ourselves, but uniting. And so things to think about. You can play this video back and listen to the message again if you kind of want a little reminder. I know I read it several times, because every time you kind of read it, you get a little something else from it. So it's always that, you know, every time I read it, there's something else that I get, you know, or they use the word flashlight, right? A flashlight kind of goes on something else. And sometimes when you listen to it once, you get something, but then when you listen to it again, it's like a whole nother teaching. And so I find that to be so when I'm reading anything that they write with me. So maybe it's nice to play this back and listen to it again. Yeah. So let's see. Hi, Sarah. We all have a part to play to make the world a more loving place. We are all connected. You make one person happy with kindness and joy, it ripples effect. Yeah, it's simple, right? It doesn't have to be complicated. And that's the thing. I think that, you know, like my guys always talk about, it's simple and practical. It doesn't have to be complicated. It's easy. It's not hard. We can do this, you know, whenever they're doing any type of teachings. And you're right. I mean, that's exactly it. That's like what they're saying, that we are interconnected, and we are one humongous community, and we are a community of the world, and we need to take care of our community just like we would the one we just live closely by, but we need to see it as a bigger community, that we need to be there for one another. And that's what community does. We're there for each other. That's the beautifulness of community. I remember, like, you know, I remember with 9/11, ooh, spirit's coming in. I remember with 9/11, I remember 9/11, and I remember, in America, and I know it was felt throughout the world, right? Because it affected all of us, but everyone in the world was affected by 9/11. Can you agree? And it didn't necessarily happen in that person's country, but they really were affected by it also. And because, we are all interconnected and we feel that pain that others feel, or we feel that joy. And with 9/11, what I remember, and any of you all that live in the USA, you'll remember this, that do you remember all the cars? Maybe, other countries did it too. I'm not sure, but I know America. But do you remember all of the cars driving all through the streets after 9/11 and how everybody had a flag on their car? Everyone had an American flag on their car? I don't think there was a car on the road or in the parking lot or in someone's garage that did not have an American flag on their car. And, it united us. And in that moment, we were all affected, and we all felt each other's pain and sorrow. And we felt for one another through that time, even throughout the world. And I just remember that sense of community when everyone had those flags. And it didn't matter if I was in Orange County or wherever I was, San Francisco, it was everywhere. No matter where you were, it was all over. And that was so beautiful it was so emotional and so beautiful to experience everybody being together in the community like that, really around the world, that, was like that. Do you guys understand? Do you feel the same way about that? Like even with 9/11, how it was such a tragedy, and how everyone pulled together as a world community during that time. And there are so much positive news stories being reported now. I've always wondered, if we only heard good news, if we would be better and happier. Yeah, Sherry, I think in the last Spirit Talk that I did, I think they spoke about that. I think they spoke about that very thing, and how we, it's, at the end of the day, really, isn't it just all how we choose to step into it? Like, do we want to choose to step in with positivity and with love and with compassion? Or do we want to choose to step into something, feeling attacked or feeling like you're fighting for something? And, it just has such a different energetic feeling, and energy is going to be felt no matter what, right? So if we could just put out that love, like Spirit was saying, if we can just brighten that light within us, it'll pour out. And if we could get that light to pour out, it'll ripple, like what Sarah was saying, it ripples, right? And that's, that's our responsibility as a community for our family, the community we live in, but the community of the world. And I really liked how they said the community of the world, because, I don't think I've ever thought of it that way. So again, every time they give a little nugget here or there, I take something more from it. Let's see. I feel this pandemic is helping us reconnect with each other. This has been a focus of the world right now, not on all the problems. Yeah, right. Because you end up stop worrying about the other stuff we used to kind of worry about, right? It's kind of shifted, hasn't it? So I think, I really think, I think that, but even like with 9/11, right, as horrible as that was, all those American flags on the cars, and the whole world kind of coming together during that was really powerful. And so that was, just, really showing that we have it in us to really treat the community of the world with love and compassion, and to be there for one another energetically by positivity and by good feelings, and by wishing them well and upliftment. That's how we can get there. Hi, Barbara. Hi, honey. Let's see, great words to hear in these days. Gia, we need to start appreciating the beauty of this world and live with more love and compassion with ourselves, but all humankind, which is pretty much the message today, right, Gia? I mean, that's pretty much what they were saying today. So, they kind of like to keep things kind of simple and practical and kind of to the point. They're not overly wordy, and it stays clear that way, doesn't it? The message gets to be very clear that way. And they said for us to step into our community with clear eyes of those in it, and to recognize that we are all part of one another, and so you should treat them, with that knowing. right? And so anyway, I thought that was really lovely. Let's see what else. Do you have anything else we have to say here? Definitely, right, Sherry? Yeah. So anyway, do you guys love these? Do you like doing these spirit talks? Do you enjoy the letters? Would you like me to kind of continue and do them from now and again? Is that something you guys would like? If you guys want to just throw up some hearts if you do, or just say yes, or something like that, because I'm just always trying to find ways to help each other and be there for one another, and with having the ability to be able to write with spirit and having the guides that really love to share and to help all of us. I think it's a nice thing to share it if you guys are into it, right? And again, you could take from the message what you like, and you could leave what you don't like. But hopefully something here resonated with you and you enjoyed. And okay, so let's see. Is there any other questions? You guys probably have to get back to work. I know I do. Let's just see anything else. We all have a part. Okay, Sherry, hold on. Jennifer, I absolutely love there. Okay, you do. You love these. Wonderful. Okay, good. Because, I'm happy to kind of share it because I think it helps each other, and I highly recommend playing it back and listening to it again, because you do get more nuggets every time you hear it. I just know from experience reading this, and I've been doing this since January 2017. I still go back and I reread things that I was written like 2 years ago, and it's like, huh, and it's like, wow, and like, well, you get more nuggets, and it's always a stream of well-being for us. It's always this stream of guidance to help us further along. And every time you hear it, you kind of get more. So anyway, I recommend that. So, okay, I'll keep it up. I'll keep doing them as long as y'all like it. Then I'll keep doing these letters from spirit. And okay, so if you guys do you have any questions for me about anything before I chime out? Is there any questions? See, yes, please. They are uplifting. Good. Okay, perfect. I think my internet's going out. Is it funky? Okay, good. Well, then I'll keep doing them. And if there's any topics, if there's a particular topic that you guys maybe would have interest in, wanting to know. I know the last one that I did had to do with a question somebody had from the previous Facebook Live, and so I went and asked Spirit about that, and then I read that one. So if you guys have anything that would, you want some guidance in or something, I'm happy to consider it and to place it in their hands and see what they say. Yeah. So also I just want to kind of tell you, Edgar is a collective group. So last I know there's like 10 of them. And they go by the name Edgar as a collective name. And I asked them about that, and they said it's just easier than to all of us have different names. They said it's just easier. We're all one anyway. And so they said, it's just easier to go off one name. And so they just kind of go off of that. And it is easier, and again, they're all about keeping things simple and easy. And I certainly work better that way too. And so they probably know that. But anyway, they're lovely and I adore them, and I'm happy to share them, and I'm happy to share the letters. And thanks you guys for coming on, by the way, too. I hope this gave you a nice little break from the day. So anyway, if you guys have any questions, you just didn't look like you guys do though, huh? You don't have any questions? No. Okay, perfect. Well then, I'll chime out and give you guys your Tuesday afternoon back. But thanks for coming on, and thank you for sharing the love. And if you feel this message would resonate with anyone, feel free to share the page with whoever you feel the message would help. I'm all for sharing. So please do that if you feel. And thanks you guys so much. And it really is work I love. So I'm so happy you guys enjoy it too. So, all right, guys. So I will see also I just need to kind of tell you really quickly also, for any of you that are doing my wine, snack, and spirit, which is the 18th of April, I am going to have to reschedule that one because we all have to stay uh, doing this all through April. And so if you guys are listening and you are on my Wine Snack and Spirit, I'm going to send you guys out an email with an alternate date. And if that date works for you, you will get your seat. And if it doesn't, then I will refund you. Okay. So, and then I'll open it up for somebody that is actually on the waiting list, or if you want to chime in and email me if you would like to be on the list. Okay, so anyway, okay, so hope you guys are doing good. You guys have a great Tuesday, and wish me luck. I'm juicing all week, and hopefully I'm gonna feel great. I sure have a lot of energy. So, okay, guys, you guys take care, and until next time, okay, be well, take care of yourself, and be safe. Okay, bye.